So, you weren't here, part one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know.
You were not here, part one. But you're here now.
I am.
We're still missing one person, but
He ain't coming.
he's not coming.
It's ironic because he's the father.
Oh, right. That is.
That's the craziest part about it. He is the dad. So, welcome back to the Excuse Me Brother podcast show. I'm your host, Brother Jay. I got Brother Tay with me tonight this time. And we're back for part 2 of the Black Fathers Matter interview.
Sorry, dos. I said tres. Woo. I apologize.
Yo,
My bad. I interrupt you and I was wrong.
Come on, man. Brother K from the It's Relational podcast is back
I do it all the time anyway.
for part 2 all the time. All the time.
Problem is, I'm not on the right or wrong. That's the best part. He doesn't know which is right. He doesn't know which.
He just interrupts and then it's always a zero-sum game with him.
Yeah.
But yes, Brother K is back for part 2 of the interview for the Black Fathers Matter series. So just to recap with part 1, right? We mentioned your upbringing. We mentioned your relationship with your parents.
Bullet.
Sorry,
upbringing it was only right.
We mentioned some of the positive. We mentioned some of the...
let me bring back, right. Bullet for upbringing, and then shout out and big up to my parents.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Then we brought up your positive male influences, some of the father figures that you had in your life, right? Mm-hmm. Then we sort of talked about the genesis of your relationship and your marriage with Deannie.
Yes.
And then we finished up with her telling you that you were pregnant. I mean, that she was pregnant. Right?
No, he was pregnant.
Yeah, I don't want to be pregnant. yeah.
Seahorses in the house.
What was the last thing I asked you? Remember?
It was just, how did I feel about us? Yes. When I got the news that she was pregnant, and what did we do from there? And I was also alluding to why we took about, we're 10 years married, why maybe we took so long to have our first child.
Right.
And we didn't touch on that.
Right.
So I'm more than happy to get into that.
Go right into it.
Might as well.
Well, so back for part 2. So Kemar again here, Brother K, originally from It's Relational if you're bud. And basically...
Got him with that one.
I mean, it's this culture. It was funny because, when I was talking to a lot of different people whom we know, and I was talking to some Jamaicans in Jamaica, I was like, yeah, I got this podcast. It's called It's Relational. And they were just stuck it's rational. It's rational. I'm like, bro, no. It's relational.
No,
it's rational. So that's
a whole different meaning. That's a different. I understand you want to be right, but that's not what this one's about.
Jamaicans are backwards. So it was just always so funny. So now I say, it's relational. It's relational if you're bad. So, my Jamaicans get it. But it's so funny.
I ain't never heard that shit before in my life.
It makes so much sense.
It does, though. I get it.
So if I hear it's rational, I'm like, wait, they're probably talking about me. So,
so here it's they're from the island.
I have a promo from there's no kudos for this. This Jamaican YouTuber called Dutty Berry who shouted us out one time, and he said, I want to big up It's Rational podcast, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Then I saw our snippet on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, he was talking about us.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, it's rational.
Let it rock.
If it works, right?
Yeah. So now, I just want to thank you guys again, both of you, for allowing me to allowing me to forward back. Remember, we talked about that. For a second time, I don't take it lightly because this is the second time I was able to be a guest.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, we delayed having our first child, and not like we regret having him 9 months ago at the time of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
We just wish we started a little earlier instead of at 30 and 29 or at 31. No, yeah, at 30, whatever my age is now, right? We would have preferred to start it at maybe 24, 25, 26, around about that.
Why?
Why not? Why do you delay to have kids? I mean, people will say, oh, I need to be financially stable. I need to be a certain pinnacle and reach certain statuses. However, if you never reach that point and you just delayed having kids, what's the justification you have? So we wanted to truly get our kids. We only want 2 kids. Fun fact, I actually wanted 6 kids in my heyday. But that changed. That changed. Deannie wasn't having it either. She's like, I'll give you maybe 4 max, but not 6. I'm not 20, but yeah, so. It was crazy.
My words is be her choice anyway.
But I said, listen, Jamaican have, bad.
A roster of
Yeah,
kids.
yeah. Football
They got a
team,
full
basketball
team, full track team ready to go. One of you is going to make it. And I don't care which one.
Like, I'm trying to recreate the Wayans brothers. Like, come on, give me something. But
Well, it gotta be funny.
exactly. One of them gotta be successful. One gotta be a doctor. Somebody gotta be.
Someone's
something.
gotta do something.
So, the reason why we halted on having kids so early on, as alluded in the last episode, was because we were a part of, a business, a network marketing business. I'm not going to name drop because I don't need them to have any more publicity than they already pay for.
I know exactly
right?
who you're talking about.
Yeah, we was part of the same thing, and that was when my major, I guess, want to say rooted or being rooted in the business, because I saw somebody like you in. And when I say somebody like you, someone of your caliber and your intelligence. So I'm like, wait, if all these other people don't get it, but this guy who I know was a whiz in school, like I would cheat off of his paper any day. If he's in this, it makes sense to be in it. So I do want to thank you, because, you're always kind of rocky when you in the business, like, is it really going to work? But then when you see intelligent people whom you know, it's like, it makes sense.
He's still doubtful. Like, he still doubts. Like, anything, I respect. That's the most stressful thing. This brother questions everything.
Especially because
he says, at least you say it out loud, because I also questioned it. You're like, why? And I'm like, at least he said it. I'll be over here.
Anything.
Because you'll do it loudly, I'll do it quietly. That's why people hate me the most. Like, Sean, why are you doing the research? I must. But it lets me sleep at night.
Right.
Do my due diligence. Absolutely.
It makes sense. So a part of that organization, they strongly recommended, do not have kids until you're financially independent, which means you're free from a job and you're single-handedly generating income from this business and maybe some other aspirations, which at the time when you're in it and fresh sounds good on paper. But if it takes you 20, 30, 40 years to reach that financial pinnacle that they're referring to, now that's when I'm starting my kids. So what if I'm age 60 and I finally hit that financial freedom? Well, I waited all this time to have my kids. I may have my kids, or I might have to go through science because me and my wife are a little older, right? So that was one thing that we wish we done differently, had our kid earlier and not follow that advice, because we waited so long for no reason. Like, I cannot tell you any other reason why we waited.
Well, a lot of people don't not necessarily wait until they reach a certain financial pinnacle. I mean, today, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Especially with the way the economy is now.
Correct, yeah.
But also there were like certain things that they wanted to do before they decided to have kids. Like, they want to travel a lot, they want to get a house, or they want to hit certain career goals, not necessarily financial goals, but career goals before they start having kids.
Makes sense.
There was none of that with you and Deannie. No, I want to hit every continent and take pictures and fill up my passport book, or I want to do this, like a bucket list kinds of stuff. Like,
so fact, they stopped doing stamps.
Some countries did. Panama stamped mine, which I was happy about.
You mean like stamp?
Yeah, it's like stamp the passport.
All countries do it now?
They stopped it. London, I just came back from London. London doesn't do it anymore.
Jamaica, is it electronic?
Yeah.
Jamaica don't do it either.
Jamaica stamp? What are you talking about?
They wouldn't stamp mine. I went last year.
Bro, I went last year too.
They wouldn't stamp mine.
They don't like him.
I don't know.
It was the height limit.
Maybe I don't know, maybe because I went with two passports.
You had a Jamaican passport?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably why.
I was also that.
Maybe. But
Canada doesn't do it.
Canada stamp. I went to Canada in 2021. They stamped it, bro.
Wow. So wow. They lied to us, because we went in 18 and they wouldn't stamp it. They were like, oh, we don't stamp American passports.
Well, I'm trying to go in July. I'll let you know.
Why can't I go with you?
My roommates.
Okay.
Tell you that's the one reason why I'm not, like, I was not trying to have kids yet.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like for kids, I feel like you should have your own place.
Agree.
Not just be, like, independent or other stuff. I feel like just having your own place, either with you or your wife, or if your girlfriend at the time, you was just you. Valid. You two. You don't have, like, roommates, or, like, you not, like, under your parents' roof or, like, above them.
100%.
Some people live. That's what my thing was.
That's a valid cause. You know what I mean? Like, that is, at least, that has justification. Like, hey, I'm waiting until I save up. Me and Deannie were living on our own the whole time. So we've been living on our own since we were 21. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting you guys started, y'all got married young. Yes.
We didn't get to travel because of the same sentiments. Hey, why are you traveling while you're working a job. All that money that you're putting on to travel should go towards the business and funding your business so you can reach that pinnacle where financially independent, now you can travel. So in the race of business, we did buy our first house. So that was cool. That was a whole story behind it. I ain't gonna get into it, but we did buy our first house out on Long Island, and that was a good experience. You know what I'm saying? But like, we didn't hit like pinnacles in our life because of being in the organization for so long and under the mentorship where we thought at the time made sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So when she finally did, you know, when she told you that you were pregnant, and, you know, I remember you telling me y'all were in Toronto at the time, you said?
So we knew something was up because we was in Toronto. So we went out to Vegandale, and which is this large vegan festival, which started the change for me to go vegan. And it was just, for her, it was like, you know, blazing hip hop hot out there. She's talking about like it's like Africa or something. It's just like wildly hot. And I'm like, it's you know, it's toasty, it's hot, but it's not that bad. She's like, no, I feel like I'm about to pass out. I'm like, girl, what is going on? So when we got back home, that's when she took a test, and it was just like, I'm pregnant. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, we planned this.
Right,
it's not
we
like we didn't
planned,
plan this. Like, all right, one of my Johnsons worked. You know what I mean? Like, like we did this. We did this. So it was an exciting day. It was a totally exciting day. I do regret, because a lot of people keep these things as mementos. You know, we didn't keep like the original tests, like the actual physical test. I have a photo of it, but we didn't keep like the actual test because I was like, that's like ick. Why are we keeping that? You like urinated on a stick,
right?
Like it's ick.
I feel like that's something I'm like, it depends on the relationship. Yeah, put that in the box. Like, this is when it first happened.
I'm like, no,
that's something you don't really share with the people.
That's ick. Like that. Like, might as well even try to track back. Like, all right, this day he was conceived. Like, like what do we get from that?
So okay, she tells you that she's pregnant. You know, how did your family react?
Oh, everybody was just like, finally.
Wow.
Because we were married X amount of years. So it's like, where's you know, the old adage, like, all right, you're married, all right, where's the kids after 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
And
especially, that's a definitely thing. So when you get married or you've been in like a long-term relationship from 21 up plus, I had people asking me when I'm gonna have kids.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I think I asked you a couple times, right?
And I said you was wilding as well. Statement did change,
and that's fine. One of the biggest things I will say is be careful whom you have kids with. I know that's not the premise of this podcast, but it is also the premise of this episode. But be careful whom you have kids with, because once you have kids with that one person, you're locked in for life. There's no changing it in any type of way. The only change is if it's not yours and you did the DNA test, then you dodge a bullet. But that's going to be a hard bullet.
That's still going to probably some other things come into that.
You know what I mean? But so just be careful.
They can still fight it.
See what I'm saying? So just be careful whom you have kids with, because it is a commitment for life.
So were you hoping for a boy, or did it matter?
What? I wanted a boy.
I just had to ask.
Not a boy. I wanted a boy. A boy picnic.
It's the Caribbean in you.
Yeah, you missed it last time when me and him was here. I was like kind of flip flopping. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, what, go on. You know, I was just twanging.
The thing is, I'm used to it because I did track in college.
Yeah.
So that was all my teammates. Yeah. They would flip on it, rib, and I'm like, yep. And to the point where I was like, we're going to do this. I'm like, Yeah,
well, as long as you guys understand. He just said a word to me earlier and was like, "Did I do it right?" I was like, "Yes." He said Ross. I'm like, wow.
Listen, as many Caribbean friends I know that I have, I should be fluent in Patois.
Oh, 100%.
But y'all all failed me.
I mean,
all of you.
That's not fair, because I got friends from DR in Puerto Rico, and I don't speak Spanish that well.
Same thing, and they all failed us.
I understand it. So if someone says it to me, I fully know what they're saying.
Oh, really?
But I'm not going to say it back because I can't say English words correctly. You think I'm going to try to say... I struggle when it comes to other things, when it comes to sentence. I don't know, on our things, I'm almost like, your words are hard. I can't do this shit.
I do remember this.
Sabes que, ya tú sabes, me encanta español. I love it. What?
He's mad.
Anyway, what was Deanne's aspirations about the gender of the child? Did it matter to her?
Oh boy, she wanted boy. So now we only want 2 kids. We have one.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, well, we have 2. You count our cat. Say what you want, fight me. We count our cat.
That's
but
okay. My roommates count. We have like 3 dogs. My roommate counts them as kids all the time.
As you should.
Yeah.
It's a good stepping stone into having a child.
Right,
I know a lot of people will fight me on
I'm about
that.
to say, a lot of people would disagree with you. Why?
That's
not?
fine.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. Cats and dogs, mentally, they don't ever go past. Depending on how big your dog is, the highest intelligence they'll get is like a 4-year-old.
Okay.
So, and cats will always be 2 to 4. And the older they get, they might grow more intelligence. They just won't talk to you. You just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like having a kid anyway.
I mean,
Until they learn words.
that and the simple fact of taking care of somebody else outside of you or a significant other, that aspect is now it's like, oh, I can't just go out for a weekend or I can't just go out for a day. It's like, got to make sure the cat is good. I got to make sure the dog is good. So that little, principle there kind of helps.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah.
To know like how to go through like forward.
So what was Deanne's pregnancy like, especially for you? Because we always listen, everyone hears it from the mother's point of view, which is, of course, is valid.
Mhm.
But no one ever cares about how the father feels about or his pregnancy experience. So what was it like knowing that, okay, she's pregnant now? Not only do I have to pay more attention to her, but I'm watching her change physically as this baby's growing in her. What was that like for you?
Oh man, loaded question because I have a loaded answer. And
so we love loaded questions and answers here.
What I want to start out with, Deanne had probably one of the most fantastic pregnancies ever, right? When I say that is no complications, no morning sickness as much as I remember, maybe a little nausea, but not the extreme, I'm throwing up and nothing of the sort. You got her growing pains and so on and so forth. The toughest part about Deanne's pregnancy, y'all gonna laugh, was renewing her Jamaican passport. Now, you're like, wait, what?
Excuse me, brother?
Excuse me, brother, indeed. Because during that time, we had decided like, we have these passports, let's renew it because it was just expire for X amount of years.
Right.
So I renewed mine, went through 3 months, not an issue. They were saying, like in the passport office, there's some kind of internal system error that she was facing. So it took her a little over, I want to say 7-8 months to get her passport renewed. That was the toughest part because it's like calling Jamaica, long distance, well, not long distance, but WhatsApp, Digicel, top up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was the toughest part about her pregnancy.
That's a calendar.
that's a whole gestation period.
That's a real calendar.
The whole time. So that was the toughest part. But now,
imagine they came at the same time. That'd be great.
we got the passport before she gave birth, so that was good. But I'm like, that was literally the toughest part about your pregnancy. Like, not, feeling complications, not we have to keep going to the doctor and stuff like that. Like, nah. Also, soft plug, if you are pregnant or deciding to get pregnant, make sure you have really great insurance. Insurance matters. Get a doula, get a midwife that will help you in terms of your delivery process and just your stages up until pregnancy. I mean, until delivery, it's going to come in handy, but I'll touch on that later.
Facts.
Now, excited. You're about to be a father. It's ecstatic. It's like I'm on top of the world. It's that feeling like I'm about to graduate high school or college. It's like, yo, I'm counting down the days, man. I don't even care what's going on. I'm counting down the days. But when it came to, I want to say 6 or 7 or 8 months, I don't remember which it was, I actually had I want to say emotional or mental breakdown about this. Now, it was just, when I thought about it, I was like, wait, you're dead ass about to be a father. Like low key, high key. Not even low key, high key. You're about to be a father. How do you react to that? And so I was hyperventilating. I remember I was in my office and it's just like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, you're really about to be a father. What do you do next? So I'm in the office and the thought comes into me and I'm just like, just hyperventilating. I'm like, yo, what am I about to do? So I like left my office in a hurry. Like, people were talking like, yo, you good? Because they kind of saw me like deteriorating in front of them almost. And I left the office and I went out into the hallway And I was just like, yo, I don't know what to do right now. Like, I don't know what to do right now. Like, I'm freaking the freak out. So I don't curse. I'm freaking the freak out. Like, this is crazy. What am I supposed to do? So at first instance, I said, I need to call somebody. If I do not speak to somebody, I don't know what I'm about to do to myself. I don't know if I was going to harm myself. I don't know what I was going to do. I just know I need to speak to somebody. So I pick up my phone and I call one person who's not a father, or nowhere near a father. I don't know why I called him, but I called him. So I called, and a shout out to him, Scott Bernhard, my best friend, and Eisen's my son's godfather. I called him. Anybody who knows Scott knows he's essentially a public figure. And he's also sometimes tough to get in contact with. Even me, as his best friend, he's even tough to get in contact. He answered on first ring. Not even like ring, 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 ring. Answered on first ring. He's like, yo, bro, what's good? What's good? I said, yo, Scott, I'm falling apart right now. He said, whoa, bro. It's like he dropped something because he heard like the trembling in my voice, like the uncertainty. I said, yo, I'm about to be a father. I don't know if I could do this, bro. I don't know. I think I need to just go. I think I need to leave. He's like, bro, what are you doing? What are you talking about? You're going to be amazing. He's like, nah, man. I said, nah, how am I supposed to do this right now? How am I literally supposed to do this right now? I have no training. I have no manual. How am I supposed to be a father? I think I want out. I want out. I'm leaving. I'm not going home. I'm just done. He said, nah, bro, you can't. You can't. Now I'm also paraphrasing a lot of what the conversation transpired, but because I do not remember a speck of what he said to me. So I'm assuming this is the conversation. I just knew I was ready to leave. Leave New York. Or leave. I was just gonna leave.
You just needed the thing.
I was gonna be gone off the face of the earth.
Yeah, there's one of those things. Like you're having a mental breakdown. Someone else who's going through that. It's very much like it's not anyone's doing. It's like I feel like I just need as much open space as possible.
Oh my God. Oh
just
my God.
to feel better.
I was outside. One thing I know, I started out, I was like, I was crouched down in a corner in the building. And then I was like, yo, bro, I need to go. So I stepped outside, that much I remember. And I went out in the parking lot. And I know I look like a crazy person, but I was in the parking lot like
pacing back and forth.
Yes. Looking like a mad person. I obviously do not care. But he got me down to the point where I'm still here. I'm okay. I'm a father 9 months later. So the reason why I mentioned that is because I'm going to assume, I have no justification, nor do I agree with it. I'm going to assume this is what a lot of fathers, pre-fathers go through, where you have half of them that say, you know what, I'm going to persevere, or the other half is like, I can't do this.
You know what, as you were telling the story, that thought kind of popped into my head, like, oh snap, maybe that's why a lot of men, disappear when they learn that they're going to become dads. It's like, oh shit, I can't do this.
That's a lot. I feel like that's a lot of when it comes to those stories where they're just like, especially when it's just thing, they're like, oh yeah, he was so involved in the first 6-7 months, and then when it got down to like the
tough part,
delivery and stuff, he just up and vanished. I was like, he probably didn't have that person he can call or a support system that'd be like, yo, relax. Even if you don't think you got this, we got you regardless.
Right. And it's crazy because like that. This is why I ask you, like, how was it for you? Because
great question.
I know a lot of men who, and you too, and both of you probably know a lot of men who just completely get ignored during the entire process.
Yes.
And nobody cares about how we're handling all of this. It's all about her and how she's feeling, and the baby showers for her and the weddings for her, and nobody cares about the man's opinion, the father's opinion. Meanwhile, this is just as much his kid as it is hers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you say to men who may have been experiencing those kinds of things, that thought process, and hit that mental breakdown that you had? What do you say to those men to encourage them to persevere?
Support system. Support system.
Mm-hmm.
Find you a brotherhood prior to,
most of these battles.
conception, or prior to like labor. Find yourself a support system. And I'm not talking about, no offense, no misogyny in any type of way, but find yourself another brother or brother, if you will. Find yourself a support system, some guys that you can call on to, some guys that have gone through the experience before. I don't know if it's an unspoken story of like the feeling that I went through, because nobody told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I went through it, I make it a goal to say, hey, black man or father to be, make sure if you run into that moment, you call on somebody. Do not try to handle it on your own. Because us as men, we're gonna take it on by ourselves.
As you
But
are,
that's
as you
not
are
good.
like just
Yeah.
raised and taught to train to be like whatever you're going through, you can do it by yourself.
Yeah.
That's not always true.
Fell apart, man. I fell apart. So that's also another soft plug to another organization I'm tied into, which is called, LOEM, which is League of Exemplary Men. You might have seen me post about those guys. And they're essentially, we're all like, of course, Caribbean, Black, if you will, group of guys, content creators, and different people in different careers that we have this brotherhood where we stay accountable to each other. So I was referred by Scott because he was already a member or a part of the crew. So he brought me in. But they also helped me realize, like, you got it. You're okay. Now, I told him about it after the fact, but the one person I leaned on was my support system, which was Scott at the time. So that's the biggest thing I want to say. Don't go at it alone. I know the emphasis post, I guess I want to say, like, from we graduated high school, it's all about mental health. Take it seriously. Seriously, take it seriously. It really matters. So have a support system established and do not afraid to call anybody. I called somebody who's not even a father, nowhere remotely going to be a father yet. I don't know what his timeline is, but he's nowhere near a father. You know what I'm saying? I have a long list of fathers I could have called. My stepdad, I could have called him, but I don't know. Maybe I just didn't want him to see me in that light, or I don't know.
I think kind of just depends. I think when it comes to that, it really just depends on who you consider your bros or your Phil best friends. Like, you're not. I think that's the one you called on because he's probably seen the one that you cried before with.
No.
Oh. Or you just don't feel like you can. You feel like you can be vulnerable with that brother.
Yeah. I mean, we had the moments already, and I think I can't tell why I called him, but I'm just grateful he picked up first ring, and I'm grateful that whatever he said to me talked me off the ledge.
It worked out.
Literally talked me off the ledge.
Why didn't you call Deanne?
Nah, you don't.
No,
you don't.
No.
Again, no misogyny attached to it, but you're not calling your woman who's pregnant, so her emotions are running rampant.
You're gonna. I feel like at that point, because he's at the time, her hormones, not to be misogynistic or just put anything like that. I feel like that's a whole nother thing that's gonna cause more issues.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I was just curious as to why you didn't.
It's fair, but
it's understandable because that's your partner you're gonna be with
right.
life.
It's gonna affect her the most of anything outside of you.
That's an effect that you don't probably want to cause at that time. That's
I can.
That's a conversation you could have after everything's done, like the pregnancy's done.
Exactly. That's what I did.
And I was about to say, did y'all have that?
I did. And she's like, "Oh my God, why you didn't tell me?" Well, you're going through a swirl of emotions. Right. If I added that to it, you might have had a complication.
I feel like maybe you got. I don't want. If someone else is going through a burden this time, the last thing I want to do is put another. They're carrying a heavy load. What I want to do, put a feather on that.
I get.
I'm not trying to make them crash. That's what I would crash. Why would I do this?
Listen, I understand. I just wanted to,
It's fair,
did it cross your mind to call her?
No.
Okay.
No way, no shape, no how. Like, it didn't make any sense.
Okay, I understood. The baby shower. It was one of the most fun baby showers I've ever been to. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't like. Listen, I have a thing, right? Because
I have a lot of things.
Nobody asked you. When I believe it was after Amanda and Joshua, right?
Oh God!
And we know how that story. Story turned. We had some coworkers. I don't mean to, name drop or whatever have you, but after their baby shower, right? I was like, listen, I'm not going to any more baby showers unless you're family or unless you're married. Unless I go to a wedding. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm boycotting baby showers unless you're married or unless you're family, right? So I was doing pretty good. Then I went to like 3 or 4 weddings in like a 3-year span, right? Mm-hmm. And then your baby shower was the first baby shower I went to outside of family.
They're married.
That's why I went. You know what I'm saying? That's why I went. So when I got the invite,
kept your rule together.
I did. I felt good. So when he gave me the invite, I was like, yes, let's go. And I got to see a lot of people that we went to high school with.
That was the point.
Like Brother Peebo, shout out to Peebo. We saw a few other people. Yes, we have. Right. That's his actual name.
I love it.
So he's
named after the jazz singer.
The Peebo Bryson.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. That's not a problem. I just love the name Peebo.
Oh,
also, because it brings me back to New Orleans as well.
Okay, understood. Yes, I remember this story.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to see a lot of people that we went to high school with. We saw the Chisel Adonis there. Shout out to Dave,
him.
brother Dave. That you were the MC for your own baby shower.
No.
Yes, you were. Were you not?
I mean, I said a couple of things, but it was really like I had a host. Like Scott was the host.
Yes, Scott was the host. So
You just said he was better than the host. He was funnier. That's all I heard.
but it just seemed like he had the mic a few times, bro.
That was enough for you to be like, that's the real MC right there.
I'm not afraid to have a microphone in my hand. Really, that's what it is.
At this point.
And it was a joyous occasion. It was very festive. He told me I had to dance, and we did. We danced. We had fun. The food was great.
Are you against dancing, brother?
Yes, I am. I hate dancing.
We'll talk about it another
I hate
time.
it.
That'll be an episode of
So-
dancing.
What was the feeling for you as the father in this scenario to have your first baby shower, your first child with your wife, your families came together, y'all friends came together, your associates came together. What was it like for you mentally and emotionally to actually share this occasion with those people that mean the most?
I mean, it was a joyous moment.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I actually, funny enough, I opened up the invites to all of those who we shared an episode with or interviewed or been on their podcast. So I opened up the invitation to a lot of those people outside of like our Lehman friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a joyous moment. It's like, man, this is surreal. Like the baby shower was like the cement, like the icing on the cake. Like, yeah, this is about to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you come in, you see the belly, you walk in, and it's like, I feel like I'm the celebrity. Where's the red carpet at, man? And look at that. You know, it was a good feeling. So just seeing everybody come together just to shower blessings upon our son. And did I tell you his name?
You did, but I want you to give the story. I was gonna ask. That was gonna be one of the next questions, but since you brought it up, go ahead.
You watch anime?
Yes, I do.
You watch the old big three? You know, like
Oh, wait, which?
not today's big three. Back in the
Okay,
day
so
big
like
three.
Naruto, no.
Naruto.
Ichigo, like Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he knows. Okay, I actually named my son Aizen. Aizen.
You villain. Only because I was the most. I respected that villain too much.
see, but let me tell y'all the ideology why I did that. It's probably pretty obvious. So anybody who's watched Bleach knows the intellect of this man, Aizen Sosuke. You know what I'm saying? How do you plan somebody's life out like to the T from their birth? And I'm talking about give you life, take away life, give you life, take away. How do you plan something like
man,
that?
That plan
Maniacal.
was maniacally great, and it was step by step perfect. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn.
So
I
my
can't play chess with this.
my
brother.
thought process
I got
was
lost when I start.
it's crazy. My thought process was, so this is a name that was 10 years in the making, right? Because anybody know Bleach is around a long time.
Mm.
So my thought process was, listen, I want to transfer that good intellect into you using that name. So that was again a name of, that was created for 10 years. So that was my thought process.
Mm.
And then when I tell everybody, they say Aizen or Azan, I'm like, or Jamaicans, Aizan.
Aizan.
Like,
I
so
can
much
see that.
emphasis. But I spell, they say, spell it Aizen. Like DNA hates it when I say Z. I'm like, well, Jamaicans say Z instead of Z, they say Z. So I'm like Aizen.
Mm.
So that's how I spell his name, but it's Aizen. So I can't wait till he gets a little older so I can be like, yes, that's my boy, Aizen Summer. You know what I'm saying?
So how did Deanne feel about this name? Because, like, I don't know. Women like to take control over that sometimes.
Straight shooter, she had no choice.
She had no choice.
choice.
You said
I'm sorry,
this
Deanne.
is it.
But
this
she
is
knew
his
it.
name.
She knew it. I even made a joke when she was pregnant, and I'm sorry, Deanne. I'll publicly say it. I'm sorry. She was like, you know what? I'm thinking about changing the name. I said, Deanne, I will leave you before you change this name.
Yeah. Oh,
I apologize publicly, privately.
I ain't gonna lie to you. If the idea was like, I want my child to be intelligent, and it's gonna be that name, I'd look at it as like, yo, it better be Loosh. If you got wrong with this, better be something just as good.
I'm sorry, Miss Johnson. I am for real. Like I apologize. It was bad. It was bad. Like I should have never came off like that. But I was just so adamant. Yo, I planned this for 10 years. Don't take this away from me.
Please.
Take
let me
every
have
other name.
this. Let me have this one.
Take every other name, not this, please.
You can have the next one if we got another one. Please, not this one.
No,
Eat this.
it's not unheard of. I mean, brother Zay, he named his son Kal-El. You know,
I never asked Brother Zay for his kid's name.
you
I never knew.
He says it openly,
I
bro.
never asked.
Kal-El.
Superman. Yes.
No. I know that.
Yes.
Kal-El?
Yes, he named his son Kal-El.
I think it's more reasonable.
Brother Zay is a huge Superman fan. Huge.
Then you might as well name him Zod.
You gotta talk to him about.
You gotta talk to him about that, bro.
That's a problem.
His son was born before we met him, so.
All right.
Right?
Well, I'm not
Yes.
laughing at. Just wow.
Yeah, let's. My nephew's named after Michael Jordan. You know,
Like
so-
actual
Michael?
Michael Jordan.
No, just his name is Jordan, but
Oh.
his
Oh
name
man,
is Jordan.
that's common though.
But that's why
That
his
could be the
name is
country
that.
at that point.
It was funny because I like his first name and his middle name were names that I had in mind for if I had a son, I would have named him Jordan and the middle name that we have for him. But when no. But when my sister named him and she said, "Oh, his name was Jordan," I was like, "Wait, what's his middle name?" And she told me his middle name. I was like, "You stole my name." And I kept it to myself because I had the idea 10 years in the making. I'm gonna name him this because I like this name and I think it fits with my last name because every first name just doesn't go with Diamond, you know. So I was like, okay, let me come up with some names now, and then when if I do still have a child,
The Jordan Blood Diamond, like what's going on?
no, silly, jeez.
That's the only name I came up with.
Moving forward,
Go Diamond.
so when
Gold Diamond is fucking crazy. Jordan Gold Diamond. Oh my god, that's an awesome name.
Oh man, that ties into the business.
He's
But
going
it
to
does,
baseball.
it does actually.
He's going to play
that's
baseball.
what I thought about it.
Have you ever seen that? I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry. Have you ever seen that video? He was like, I forgot this Japanese pitcher. He came from Japan and his first contract he got was like 10 years, $500 million.
Oh, that's what's his name? That's not Shohei Ohtani?
No, that's his teammate. That's his friend.
Oh, Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Yes, Yamamoto.
See,
Yes.
I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at
Yamamoto?
Shoto. He proved
His name is really Yamamoto.
Yes.
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 He literally came. This is his first time in Japan. His first year. His first contract, 10 years, 500 million.
I'm still stuck on the name, bro.
Yeah, that's his name.
No.
literally-
It's a name from Bleach.
Yes,
Oh,
that
well,
is.
there
That's
it is.
That's why I'm like, what?
But I always remember as soon as that contract came out, a lot of fathers was like, it's like, what I learned is that baseball is the key.
Yes,
Like,
baseball is
like,
key.
That
Yes.
art, it's like, I know you like to draw, but fuck that drawing. Do you want to eat? Baseball.
Listen, baseball since they don't have a salary cap, you know, it is what it is. But
Baseball and soccer.
So-
or football.
That's
when
not me.
Oh, that's me.
good job.
Oh,
it's 8:30,
man.
that's
Just-
why. Keep going.
just-
I got this.
Okay.
It just messed up the whole.
Keep going.
You'll be all right. When
My workout line.
when Deannie went into labor, right? Well, tell me what the process, the labor process was like.
Labor was interesting. She was afflicted with Braxton Hicks, which I hate the name, but it's just like it feels like it's time for the pregnant, like for the actual labor,
Mhm.
but it's just like trickery. It's like this is like mimicking
Like a
what it's
false
feeling.
labor, right?
False labor. There you go. I was tongue tied on the word. So
That shit sounds painful.
my boy was born April 15th, tax day, so I can never forget taxes.
Mm.
And so
You came at the right time. Like, at the right time.
how it happened. So what we essentially did was we went through so I went to work because I wasn't gonna take paid family leave until like the day of like labor, because fortunately I got 12 weeks. Not everybody gets 12 weeks,
Nice.
but
Yeah.
I got 12 weeks.
Wow.
And take all your paid time leave, your family, take it. Do not say,
Especially as a company that offers you like
take that.
like fatherly leave for kids, because most companies won't do that.
Say that. Take that, Murasoka, please. So, I was at work. She was feeling a lot of pain, so she was at home. So she went to the gyno, and the gyno who saw her was like, "Hey, man,
You're in labor.
you're 5-6 meters dilated on your
Mhm.
own. It's legit. You're having this baby." So she called me, and she's like, "Oh, Kemar." I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" She's like, "Wait, hold on." Like, how you call me and tell me hold on? She's like, "Here's the doctor. Oh, doctor so and so. Hey, are you so and so? Yes. What's going on? Well, your wife is 6 meters dilated." I'm like, What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Oh,
right, brother.
it means she's ready to go into labor. I was like, oh, so I gotta call the ambulance? Like, we gotta get going? He's like, no. She's okay. She's gonna get back home because she Ubered back home. But what you need to do is leave work, pack your hospital bag, and go to the hospital. I said, all right, too easy. So I told everybody in the office, and I was kind of frozen. I was like, hey, Deanna's having a baby because everybody in my office know her. He's like, all right, go home. I was like,
that's it. Just go home.
I was like, but I got my numbers. I got to do, like, I'm not finished with work. I don't know why I was so like work focused at the moment.
Right.
Like,
I feel like that's just I feel like that's a mechanism because I do the same thing. When something's like traumatic's happening, I'm like, but I got something else to finish.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this is a
He's like, yo, take your ass home and go get your wife and have this baby. I was like, okay. All right, cool. So
gotta yell at me. Someone gotta yell.
So we get home, we pack our bag. We already have a bag, and we go to the hospital. We won't shout out the hospital name because it was a 50-50 experience. It wasn't like terrible, but it's like we could have went elsewhere. One thing that we did do was she was I think we was her first client, our doula. Shout out to her Leisha, with her services and everything. We'll talk about her services. So she came through. She left from where she lived in Ossining, New York, to come out to Oceanside, New York, Long Island. She came through and spent, I think it was a day or two, I want to say a day or so, with us in the hospital, and really like guided me and Deanne through everything. Right? We get to the hospital, we get her a wheelchair. We just get the wheelchair. Like, she could walk fine, but it was like, oh, here, take the wheelchair. And I was like, all right, if they're gonna push a wheelchair on you, just go. I can get out. We can get out faster. We can do everything. Get upstairs, get into the room, put her down, and I guess I was expecting, like, we watch so much movies. That's what it is. I was expecting to be in like the ER type, like OR room, like the double doors, the open room, and everything. And her legs kind of like open and like push. Man, we were just in a regular hospital room. I was like, this is not what I saw on TV. The only thing different is the bed has like a bar where like a woman can hold on and like push. So that was it. And then the incubating station right here for their baby when they come out, so you can keep them warm. That was it in the room. I was like, wow, too much TV. So shout out again to Leisha for coming all the way out, because she guided us through. And Deanne went about 7 centimeters, maybe 6 or so, before taking the epidural. I was 100% against it, naturally, but I'm not feeling her pain, so I'm not going to block her and say, do not take it at all. So if your woman is in any pain whatsoever and she has to do the epidural, do it. If she don't have to, so be it. But there's always like a lot of complications behind it, so that's why I was a little against it. So far, Deanna seems to be fine, and I like that. So Leisha, our doula, is guiding us through everything. So what they realize is like the contractions are a little too far apart. So what they did was they gave Deanna Prozin. I'm saying
prednisone?
It wrong. No.
The prednisone is a steroid. I'm sorry.
I don't remember what it is. The idea is like to force the contractions, to make them closer, just to make it game time. At the time, we didn't understand what that was. Our doula explained it to us, and we was like, well, I mean, she's been here in labor for like 5 hours and no movement. So he's like, yo, just take it so we can kind of speed up the process. So shout out again to Leisha, because she drilled every single question to all the staff in the hospital. Anybody who came in was getting drilled by her with questions. And it wasn't like negative questions. It was just questions for maybe her understanding, but mainly our understanding. It got so bad to the point the doctor did not want to talk to her anymore, because she kept asking questions. She's like, all right, maybe you're like a doula in training, but like I've been a doctor for like 20 plus years delivering babies. So please reserve all your questions to the end. And she was like, oh, I was like, oh, but I said, I'm here for it, because we don't know what we're doing.
Right.
Y'all just get the gloves, what does that mean? So all in all, labor was about 13 hours. When people say labor, this is another fun fact. Labor is not the actual like push part. Labor is just how long you're in the hospital after being dilated a certain amount of centimeters. Because I always thought a woman is screaming for 13 hours, 12 hours, 21 hours.
Whenever I hear that, because that's what I thought too. I'm like she unfortunately passed out. I was like, yeah, she passed out. She was screaming for 13 hours.
Yeah, but no,
Who else wouldn't?
it's the actual.
I guess I'm a
here?
little lucky because seeing that all of my sisters are mothers, they've explained this to me. Like, no, labor is this. They kind of smashed that misconception also. Like, oh, so that's why it always seems like you're exaggerating for you've been in labor for this many hours. No, that's because this is what labor is.
From you get to the hospital until baby's born, pretty much labor.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I was today years old when I figured that out.
Yeah.
So that was an experience. Baby was born 3 a.m. or so.
Wow.
The 15th. And what happened? I don't know if Deanne's going to be okay with me mentioning this, but I'll say it. She had a grade 1 tear.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
And so they had to stitch her up.
Yes.
Boy, that looked like that hurt.
I can imagine.
That looked like that
It's
hurt.
not the first time I've heard that. I think it's actually pretty common.
So, not common. Again, I don't know if Deanne's going to be okay with me saying this, but when baby head was coming out, like I saw the head, Deanne wasn't pushing hard enough. She don't know what the hell she's doing, so of course she. So, what the nurses were doing?
Oh, I think.
Do I gotta say?
No, I got it.
I think that the hand motion pretty much said it all.
Yeah, you did do that. I think I got it.
I do not ever want to see like that happen again. At least for my second child, I do not want to see it again because it just wasn't a good sight to see, and I think that might have caused a tear too. It could be, could not be. Maybe the boy head was big, whatever. But I did not want to see. For those listening and watching, they essentially like stretched her open. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I was supposed to fight or supposed to just let it rock. But I'm like, again, what do? I don't know what to do. And the doula's like calming me, like she's good, just hold her hand, so on and so forth. Fast forward, baby's born. I think he was 7 pounds or so, and because there was a tear, Deanna was unable to do the initial skin-to-skin contact.
Right.
So because of that, I
You
did
did
the
it.
skin-to-skin contact.
Yes.
And that was the greatest moment to me. Well, they didn't get to rinse off the baby, so I had all the
blood
juice,
and amniotic fluid,
the juice and everything. Ugh. But it was a good moment. I cemented that moment, and I was like, "What?" It is. I mean, I still have memento. I still have the same tank top, wife beater, marina, just giving out all the terminologies that I wore that day, and I still use it. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like I had you here. And I don't know if it bothered Deanne that she wasn't able to do skin-to-skin contact initially, but naturally you couldn't because you're being stitched up. You can't, all right, stitch me up and hold my baby and stitch me up and hold my baby. Like, it's just not going to work. So I got to do that first. So, me and Eisen, we got a bond. We got a certain kind of bond. You know what I'm saying?
She really upset.
She big mad.
So okay, the baby's born. Just fast forward a little bit. Baby's born. No complications besides the tear. And you guys come home. Maybe the next day or the day and a half,
like 2 days. Yeah. So
you always keep them for observation and this, that, and the third. So you bring them home and tell me about that first month being home with a newborn.
Yeah.
What is that like?
So one thing I'm gonna start out with
my
is
nightmare.
when they go use the bathroom, like number 1 or number 2. Number 2 mainly. Because he's so new in life, he's not gonna form actual poo-poo.
Right.
Like it's not gonna be brown.
Right.
My boy gonna look like an alien with the poo that's coming out because it's black. And it stains. Do not let it get on any part of your clothes because it stains. It's like curry. And like it stains.
Oh my God.
It stains. So we didn't get stained up because funny enough, we had like a lot of shout out to one of Deanne's aunts. She gave us a lot of pads, like changing pads.
Yep.
So like all that went there, and I was like, ew, like it just looks alien like ew. It looked like melted ants almost. Like you know how ants have like the bubblesy look, and then the black, like it looked like melted ants. It just looked really bad.
Like tar.
And you know what? You know why that is? From what I researched, right? It was like that first poop is everything that comes from, you know, the mother's
Mom.
umbilical cord
Mhm.
and passes through their system, because now that they're not eating from the mother anymore, now they got to just get all that stuff out of them. Like
Yeah.
that's why it looks like that.
Yeah.
I did not know that until
So
I think
yeah,
my
like-
youngest nephew was born, and I was just like, oh snap, that's why it's like that.
Yeah, it's just
Because those poops is different.
I'm saying. So that's like the dirty diaper I would take and throw at somebody instead of like the stinky one. That's what I would throw at you. Like, yo, what's up now?
That's what I really don't like you.
So
What you say? Bet. Bet. I'm coming for you.
So how
later.
many sleepless nights did you guys have? Like, was it like a shift turn? Like you got the night shift tonight, I sleep during today, or how did you two work those things out?
Great question. So our doula suggested us to do like 4-hour shifts in the
Mhm.
night. I'm up 4 hours, she's asleep 4 hours, and vice versa. Coincidentally, and all praises to the Most High, Eisen is a sleeper. So bringing him home from the hospital, he was a sleeper. He slept at night to the point, he overslept at night to the point where we forgot to feed him.
Oh,
Because you're supposed to feed a baby every 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We forgot to feed him just because we were tired.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to him because he sleeps through the night. He still kind of sleeps through the night now, but he's always slept through the night. So we didn't really go through like sleepless nights as much as people profess, but like he slept through the whole night. One of the challenges that Deanne faced in the first month is having him latch on because she's primarily nursing, breastfeeding, latching on. That was a little bit of an issue, and then her producing, you know, the milk, the secretion of it, like she was getting there but not getting enough. So that was a little bit of an issue for her, but now she figured it out. So now my girl fills up bottles when she's ready. And that was really our first month. Just 4 hours on, 4 hours off. And that's how we alternated in the night. You know, we had, you know, a couple friends and family that came over to help out. But when they leave, it's like,
damn.
Yeah.
It was still us.
Yeah.
it's
just
like
us.
it's like Ron Simmons, like, damn.
Just the three of us.
4, the cat too.
Oh, the cat.
The
cat was
cat
there.
can't
Can't forget
do
the cat.
the feeding.
But the cat was so terrified. He's like, yo, what is
the hell?
this?
Right.
And like hid. But then now him and Kemba and Eisen are like best buddies, so that's good.
That's
For
what's
now,
up.
until unfortunately toddlers and love to throw cats. I'm gonna feel bad for the cat later.
So Kemba's still a kitten. He's only 2 years old. And what I did prior to Eisen being born, I rough house Kemba. Like it was
Yeah, the training.
ASPCA, don't come for me. Like I kind of like wild out on Kemba. But not in terms of like being violent or abusive. I'm just trying to prepare you for the menace.
Menace
You
is
might-
son,
it's
right.
going to happen.
You might get, so I'm
'Cause
gonna
they
pull
have
your
no-
tail.
Yep.
I'm gonna do this. So Kemba, again, I love you.
I
but
always feel bad because that's what my mother said I did to our family cat, and I'm like, damn, I put it through hell.
so like, I did everything. Kemba in a headlock, you know, body slam, German suplex, chokes. I did
Gosh,
everything.
That's
And
what I do to my
again,
dog.
ASAPCA, don't come for me. I'm not abusing him, but now when Eisen grabs his tail,
He's used to it.
yeah, he's just like, hey, let me go.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't like try to bite him or scratch him or anything like that. So I'm thankful that I did that. I don't even know why I did that, but I'm thankful I did that.
Yo, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Tennessee has some issues.
I even hit Kemba with an F5.
Yeah, you got some
You
issues.
menace! You menace!
I feel like you were the younger brother that got abused, and you was like, it's my turn.
So you know.
Exactly.
You know.
Why do you think I got big for a reason? got tired of these.
So it's pretty obvious you and Deanne have a very good partnership and system going when it comes to raising your son, right? What type of, I don't want to say conflicts, but what type of disagreements do you guys have going forward? Like, what kind of plans do you have for your son as opposed to something she might have planned? And what can you guys do to help resolve that going forward?
Too easy.
And the reason why I ask is because there's always a time, and I notice this a lot, where everything seems all peachy in the beginning with couples, and then when a child gets into a situation, or you get introduced to the situation, now things start to come up that you didn't even realize in this partner before, that breaks the marriage down or breaks the partnership down. Now y'all just co-parents instead of raising this child together, as opposed, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So Please.
Too easy. Very simple. I won't dive into it deeper. The conversation of vaccines have come up with us. I won't say what we agree to, what we disagree to. There's certain ones that I disagree with. I leave it at that. So that's caused a little bit of a rift. But, you know, when she did her due diligence, she's like, okay, I can kind of see why you feel that way. So that was one. Another one, which is kind of like what it's not really like we're encountering now, but initially it was like diet in terms of what we'd want the baby to eat going forward. So I'm 100% vegan. She's not. So we got salmon on one stove and then mushroom on the other. So I'm like, yo, I'm not feeding him no meat. So he's not going to ever get chicken from me. So he's going to get it from you. But when you give him that, just be prepared that you give him that, the next day I'm giving him a mushroom. So that's been a little bit of the back and forth now because he's 9 months. He's eating everything. Like he eats everything. Anything you put it to his mouth, eating everything. So that's been like one of the disagreements that we've had, like in terms of diet, how we'd want him to grow up, in terms of what is he going to consume. Like I said, vaccines. Another thing we kind of had a little disagreement about was in terms of availability. And when I say availability, I mean me. So I'm more of she's actually technically the introvert. I'm really the extrovert. Sorry, she's the extrovert. I'm the introvert. However, I always have an outer body experience where I'm like, I'm team extrovert right now. So I have a tendency to always be invited to places and going out places, whereas I leave her home with the baby outside of work. So we run into that a couple of times where she's like, yo, you're always out either working or out hanging out, and I'm here with the baby. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's nip this in the bud right now. What we need to do, I said, I have no issue staying with the baby. All you got to do is just leave me milk for X amount of time and go do your business. Now, the challenge in that is, in the end, now she's a lot more confident, so I can't use this excuse on her. She wasn't so comfortable on the road, like driving by herself. She's always been like nervous driving, naturally. But now she's a lot more comfortable where she's like, oh, yeah, I'll take the whip and go somewhere. But back then, she's like, nah, like, can somebody pick me up? Because, like, I don't want to drive. I'm like, yo, the roads is easy, man. Just do what you got to do. So that was where we had a misunderstanding where I was always out and she was home with the baby. So she was, like, locked up with the baby versus me being outside either working or hanging out or just whatever. So that was one of the major disagreements where I was just like, you know what? You're probably right. So let me make up, let me change what I'm doing so I could be more available for you and him.
See, simple communication.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? Communication is always the key.
Always. That's all it took. Just a simple conversation.
Right.
She didn't come at your neck. You didn't come back at her neck.
Oh, I'm sure she came at my neck, but I had to take it because I knew I was wrong.
Okay, well, there it is.
I feel like the difference. There's a difference between, like, you could always, I feel like it's always a difference. You can always come at someone's neck after the communication is done.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we got all the key parts out. Nah, I can make fun of you for it.
It's like, oh, you want to go somewhere every day?
Yeah, I
You
feel
know
like
what I mean?
Yeah, so the communication was key, but effective communication, because she could have been communicating to me out in one ear out the other. It resonated, and I was like, yo, you know what? She's right. I do be out often, and it's not like I'm not trying to be home or anything. Just naturally, when you're trying to grow a platform, when you're trying to do this, and I don't like to use the word try. I'm using it very loosely. But you're aspiring to do so many things. It's like, I don't have time to be home watching the baby if I'm looking to grow a brand.
Right.
Like, I want It's Relational to be a household brand.
Right.
And it's not going to grow from me being home. Yeah, I could record TikToks from home, but I also have to meet people.
Right.
So it was like a conflict to the point where I was like, you know what? It's Relational going to always be there. My son was only going to be 2 months for a month.
Right.
So I got to be
there. 2 months for the next 30 days.
So I got to be there for him.
Like, yeah.
So yeah.
So you have any questions for him?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been so interested in the stories that I forgot.
Yeah, some pretty good stories, right?
Yeah, I love them. Not at the moment. Give me a minute. You got another one?
So
I figured.
what kind of advice? Give me your top 3 principles for men who are thinking about becoming fathers.
Commitment.
Mm.
Commitment is top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Once you penetrate with or without a rubber, know what you're getting into. So it all seems fun and dandy, like, yo, I'm raw dogging, yo, a joint is this. It's all fun and dandy. But once it comes down to that point, This is legit.
No, it has nothing to do with you.
Oh,
It has nothing to do with you. It's more
you
of
got
the
something?
no. It's more of the brothers
Oh,
that don't. I'm sponsored. I tell my friends that whenever like anything, I'm not. When it comes to having any sort of sexual relationships, if it's not to have kids, I'm sponsored by any condom brand. That's what I say. Like, all my other friends be like, nah, you ain't condom this. I'm like, y'all is wildin'.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and you could ask all my friends, all the guy friends, except maybe Jason, because he don't ask me those questions.
I try not to.
Because raw dogging the pre stuff can actually
Also
get a
make
woman
them
pregnant.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So commitment. Once you decide I'm not wearing this rubber because it takes away the feeling, fine. Just be prepared if and when something happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Pull-out game only works for so long. Especially if you're not using a woman's contraceptive, but I'm even against that. So that's a whole nother topic. So I have commitment. The next would be resilience. You know what I'm saying? There is so much that's going to be thrown at you. You got to figure out immediately. There is no guide whatsoever on how to be a parent, mother or father. People could tell you their experiences, but remember, that's also a story too. Not a story, something to mention as well. People could tell you their experiences, but you're going to drastically or maybe closely experience something else.
Every kid's different.
Every kid is different. On top of resiliency and experience, you want to also personally take your advice from somebody who's a young parent. Not my mother. Well, let me not say it like this. Let me not say it like that. You want to take like day-to-day advice from another young parent versus like our parents. Why? When they was raising us,
generational difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have like a friend group that is full of parents that are young in age. So whenever we had this question, my boy got gas or this and this, the older generation is crying to us, yo, gripe water. I mean, gripe water. I still don't even know what that is because my boy didn't take it. But, yo, I need gripe water. And I'm like, no, let me do the bicycles.
Yes.
I will get the gas out of it. I'm not giving him no gripe water.
Those stretches and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen those videos where they're like, if your baby got gas, help him with these stretches that helps him out. I'm like, interesting. I don't got a kid, but I'm going to watch this.
That's what we always did.
Bicycle.
Gassy, just bicycle legs and keep it pushing. Next thing you know.
And then it'd be like, and so it'd be hilarious. So resiliency with that experience. So, not taking away from like our parents' experience at all, because obviously they raised us to where we're at now.
Right.
Well, they raised us to an age and we did our own thing after a certain point. But you just got to be careful. You just got to be careful with what they're saying, because what worked back then is different now.
May not work now.
Like SIDS is a thing. That's like when infant
death syndrome.
Yeah. So they say don't put a baby on their stomach when they're young, versus having to sleep on their back. Our generation probably did it on our stomach, but now they're saying sleep them on the back. So do what works best and talk to your friend group, your peers. You have your grandparents, you have the older generation there as reference, but you really want to kind of follow other parents and their experience, because y'all probably even a network where, my baby outgrew this. Here, you can have this. You know what I'm saying? That's also another plug too. Community. So that's another principle I'll throw in there. Community. Having a village community, because y'all sharing clothes. Now you can, if you're fortunate enough and you want to buy your own clothes from scratch, be my guest. But baby clothes are
expensive.
I wouldn't say expensive.
They're always gonna change.
They're always gonna change. 1 minute he's in 1 month, next minute 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's an abundance of clothes that you're always gonna be going through. So instead of donating and buying, rotate it. Like a lot of baby stuff that we didn't buy because either our doula or another friend just gifted us. And now when they're having their second kid, hey, here you go right back.
That's how I felt. That's honestly how I felt when I see like those little baby Jordans. They're like $90 to $100. I'm like, that kid's only gonna wear it for like 3 weeks.
I would never. Yeah, and I would never.
Like, that's how I feel. That's when I look at them. They're like, this is a size 1. I was like, that baby's gonna be a size 1 for 3 months. I guarantee that.
So you say commitment,
community,
and resilience.
Yes.
CCR.
Yeah.
Those are some very profound principles.
Yeah.
For fathers. Is there anything that you would like to say personally to? Huh?
What?
Guy. Any last messages for anybody about anything you want to say about the joys of being a father, especially being a black man who's married to the woman that gave birth to his son? Anything that you want to say at all?
I mean, unrelated to the topic, but I do want to give a shout out to the studio, Brooklyn Podcast Studio, with owner Josh. Y'all need to come out here and record your pods. As you can see, our fly setup and how we look and everything and how we sound. So I just had to throw that soft plug in. Like, why not? Why not? And tell them either, excuse me, brother, or it's rational, it's relational, refers you. Maybe he take care of you. Maybe. I can't guarantee it, but check him out in Brooklyn. But my final sentiments, there's so many things that I could say, right? It's so many, like, it's all advice that's paying off the wall. Remember when you have the kid with whomever, remember that relationship that you had. Just because you had the kid don't mean you lose now my significant other. Keep that feeling and keep that spark between you guys, because the baby's going to take a lot of time out of you and a lot of energy. But always remember your wife or your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Remember that person before before the baby's there. Remember they're there. You know what I'm saying? So take that time to really appreciate them more. Also, husbands, don't body shame your wives in any type of way. Or the mothers, fathers, don't body shame your mothers in any type of way. They're going through a plethora of change. You're talking about maybe bigger bosoms, maybe bigger bums, maybe stretch marks up the wazoo, maybe flapping skin, whatever they could be going through. Don't body shame them at all. Actually love on them more, because they already are not fans of their body and how it look. And sometimes they may look at it like, yo, my man, I gave birth to you and look at what you did to my body. You know what I'm saying? So really uplift your woman and their body, even though it's changing. But be genuine about it, right? Don't, man, you look beautiful. I love how your body look. Like, don't come off cheesy like that. But
show genuine love.
Yeah.
Like the way that you would normally express love.
Yeah.
The most genuine way possible.
Yeah, be genuine, because, and it was funny because me and Danny had a conversation about this, because she's currently losing weight, courtesy of a vegan diet. But she's losing weight, right? I could tell her because she tells people. She started out prior to pregnancy, like 190.
Oh, that reminds me. I got a question for you, but continue.
Yeah,
it just popped into my head. I'm sorry.
She started at 190.
No. It's about something else.
She dropped 50 pounds. Again, it was just all like the embryonic sac or whatever with the belly. She was never like large, but she dropped. So now she's at 140, and I'm like, it's amazing that you're losing weight. I'm proud of you. But remember, whether you were 190 or 140 or 120, I've always still loved your body the same way. And she's like, yeah, that's right. You never complained about stretch marks or this and that. You're right. I was like, yeah, because I married you for you. I wasn't married because, oh yeah, you're going to gain weight one day. And I'm like, nah, it's over. Like, I married you for you. So in thickness and thin, right? Which is funny with that statement, because, she gained a little mass, but she went right back down. So just really appreciate the mother, because they go through a lot. Us men, we don't go through the physical.
Right.
And now going through the whole birthing and labor process, it's tough for me to even consider multiple children, just because I do not want to put my wife through any of that again. Like a second one is like, that's it. After that, I'm like, I'm getting the snip.
Yep.
I'm getting the snip. You can't talk me out. I'm getting the snip.
I'm gonna say, you want the basket as well.
So, okay, now that you mentioned that, right? You say you didn't want to put your wife through any of that again. Was there any postpartum depression?
Dang, that was a question we should have brought up.
It just popped into my head when you said post-weight or post-labor.
That's something I thought of as well, actually.
Damn.
It just popped into my head.
Or did she ever tell you she was going through it?
Right.
Nah, this is gonna open up a can of worms. Before I get into it, I don't know how much time we have, so I just want to be respectful of time. All right, okay. So
let's go. Get the fishing rods.
This part is a little tough for me too. When it came down to family, right? We were trying for so long to have Deanne's father come to America.
Oh, yes. Okay, I know about this.
He was denied a visa by the embassy for whatever godforsaken reason. I mean, God knew what he was doing, but I know they say don't question, but like even Kanye said, why God? You know what I mean? But I'm trying not to, but it's tough. He was denied his visa, so he wasn't able to come to the baby shower. Our plan was, as soon as the baby's born, give him a little time, straight to Jamaica, because our father lived in Jamaica. Deanne's father didn't make it. So he passed at age of 71.
Okay.
Still unknown reason why he passed, and I believe it was September. And the reason why I bring up this story is simply because that probably culminated into like Deanne's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Her baby was born. She brought new life, but her father wasn't able to hold his grandson.
Mm-hmm.
He saw him on video, spoke to him, so on and so forth, but wasn't able to hold him. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I bring it up is because it's really tough. He didn't get to hold his grandchild.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he left us a voice note of him like talking to like Eisen, but like listening to it now, it's a little like cryptic because he's like, "Oh, your grandfather's very, very far away." I'm like, "Bro, you're just in Jamaica. It's like 3 hours. Like it's not deep." I'm like, "Why are you talking like that?" Like now analyzing, why are you talking like that? And it's like, "One day I hope to hold you in my arms." And it just didn't sound like reassuring.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It sounded like, bro, you knew like your time was ticking and you didn't tell any of us.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, to bring up that story, it just was really tough on Deanne to lose your father, who you haven't seen since 2021 during your pregnancy. Like we didn't get to come for the baby shower and he didn't get to see his grandson at all. I don't know per se if it really dropped her into like a postpartum depression, but I know that really, and I mean, I know this is y'all platform, so I'll do it, and I don't normally do this, but that really fucked her up. You know what I'm saying? Like the one person you look up to the most, your father, gone. He can't hold your son again. So now we're bringing our son to Jamaica for the first time for a funeral of his grandfather. Crying and going all everything. He don't know what's up. He just there for a funeral. What really turned Deanne, like between losing her father, there were some comments, right? Which I like infuriates me to this day. Everybody know Jamaica, or for those who know Jamaica, you know, has its good and bad, but like anywhere you go, New York is bad too. You know what I'm saying? There was comments out there that was saying, you know, how did he die? Oh, we don't know. We don't know. Fine, fair. We're waiting on autopsy. Comments were made that said, oh, looking at the photo, because Jamaicans send photos of dead bodies, like, yo, it's legit. He's dead. Don't be a part of the culture. And like comments were said like, yo, yeah, somebody did it. But I was like, looking at the photo, I'm like, I can see why you say that. Like, I'm right in my mind. You know, I can see why you say that. Don't tell Deanne that. That's a father. You know what I'm saying? Comment got to Deanne.
Oh.
After I distinctly said, do not tell Deanne. Bro, I've been infuriated ever since. Infuriated ever since. Nobody was there for her. And I you know, everybody who's listening who might have been there for her, don't take it personal. Nobody was there for her in the nights when she had to sleepless nights about that comment. The nights when she keeps asking herself, why did he get taken from me? She's crying and the baby's crying too, and I gotta comfort both of them. Nobody's there to take care of her with those moments. I'm the one who's there. If Deanne snapped and lost her mind, I'm the one who got to be out there to take care of her and the baby. Nobody else. You know what I'm saying? So that really snapped me, and I've been infuriated ever since with those comments. And I knew that really made Deanne go down in the pits. So postpartum depression, yes. Simply because she lost her father and she was told somebody did it to him. Few weeks later, autopsy comes back inconclusive. They waited 2 months to do an autopsy. Go Jamaica system. But it still doesn't mean somebody did
help. Yeah, it does not help with the mental aspect, especially when you already got the thought process that someone did this.
Now, there's no like wounds or anything on the body, but it's just like, why did he die? So we're just making our own inferences, like an aneurysm, high blood pressure. We're just making our own conclusions. But postpartum depression, yes, only because of those situations that happened. New mom, father passed.
Terrible comments.
It's just terrible.
Terrible mindset. Yeah, mental.
And now Deanne is planning a funeral for her father that did not get to meet his grandson.
Mm.
So I had to help Deannie the whole time, help plan her funeral. And again, what added to her postpartum, family can really be messed
yeah.
up.
Deadly.
They
Oh,
can be
yeah.
messed up.
Oh yes.
Instead of helping Deannie in terms of like how you feeling and this and that, they're dictating to Deannie what she should and shouldn't do for the funeral.
Mhm.
Yo, my G, you paying for anything? No. Why the
Shut
hell
the
are you saying
You
anything?
Shut the fuck up.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
No, absolutely.
It got to the point where I had to take over the planning process
Mhm.
because they were hounding her. Yo, go here, do this, bury him here. Y'all not paying for nothing.
Y'all not
Why
paying
y'all
for
keep
this-
wilding out?
Mhm.
So yeah, it got to the point where I thought I might have to get physical with somebody because y'all wilding out.
Mhm.
But it didn't get to that point. But I had the opportunity to kind of respectfully cuss out a family member, and that felt good. Even Deannie's mom loved it. She's like, "Yo, you really gave it to her." I was like, "Yeah, because y'all keep putting this pressure on her like she's not a new mom. Like y'all yelling at her, but meanwhile she's breastfeeding.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So she's now producing, as my mom would say, stress milk, giving it to the baby.
I've never heard that before. Holy
I've heard that.
Wow.
I've heard people say that.
Yo,
sometimes.
that's crazy because, and not to sidetrack, but it's like I've actually like you can transfer some of that stuff to your children. You know what I mean? I remember one time my sister was sick, but she was still producing breast milk. She was like, I can't give him this, even though it might have some extra antibiotics because of, my illness. My immune system was probably just adding more to it. She's like, I can't give him this. It'll make him sick. So I never really considered that.
Yeah.
Stress milk. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like a Caribbean thing, but because I've only heard it in the sense.
Caribbean thing.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I've also heard in like Hispanic culture as well.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
So,
Anything you want to say?
No. I mean, we can bring it back to a joyous topic.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just wrap up with this, with that part of the postpartum. So, to answer your question, yes. And it was only brought on by outside events. It wasn't like internal, like, how some women just look at their child and just like,
I
nah,
can't
it's
do
not
this.
you.
Yeah.
But the greatest part about everything was our son, Eisen. Why? Every opportunity where she was crying or sad, he didn't allow her to really be sad and crying because he was always smiling and laughing. So imagine a baby smiling and laughing at you. You having the worst day of your life. He keeps smiling and laughing at you. You gonna crack. And eventually you're like, I can't keep being mad. I can't. Like, look at this kid. Like, he's cute and he's giving me good energy. I can't keep giving him bad energy. So yeah, Eisen really like saved his mother indirectly. And I love that. I love that.
And also shout outs to you for protecting your wife. You know what I mean? Shout outs to you for coming to your
Respectfully cursing out that person.
Yes, no, seriously, because there's a lot of time she's probably looking to you also like, I'm going through all of this. My father's just passed and my family's just acting out. You being the head of the family now, she's gonna look to you and be like, listen, I need you. And you came through clutch. So shout outs to you for that, man. Because like we said before, a lot of men don't get a lot of the credit sometimes, even though they're experiencing this. So you lost your father-in-law. He's a father figure in your family. So this is a community thing.
Yeah.
And you stepped up and came to your wife's defense and protected her.
Yeah.
So shout outs to you for that, bro.
And rest in peace to, my father-in-law. The reason why I hold so near and dear to him is because he's the second man outside of my stepfather that called me his son.
There it is. There it is.
So it's like, I so much respect and I revere for him. He would call Deannie's phone looking for me. He has my number. But call her, oh, Deannie, let me talk to your husband. But daddy, I called to speak with you. Yeah, man. Let me talk to your husband. Like, he would call her to talk to me all the time. And I used to feel bad. I'm like, nah, tell him I'm not available. Talk to your father. No, he really wants to talk to you. And he's like, yo, wagwan, me just yell up, wagwan. Like, there's no substance to the conversation. He just wants to say hi. But I was just like, he genuinely wants to talk to me. Like, my stepfather wants to talk to me. So, like, how can you not but respect this man?
Absolutely, 1000%.
I think it might be a best feeling as a person.
What, that your father-in-law?
No, just someone just generally just likes
wants
talking
to
to you.
Yeah.
Not even just wants, just generally wants and enjoys talking to you.
tell me about the day and everything. Yeah.
Just generally wants to hear from you. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Take us out, bro.
Oh, sweet. Oh, with the question or just the actual rundown?
Whatever.
What do you mean?
You have a question for him?
No, that was a joyous moment to go out. That was
There
fantastic.
it is. Take us out, bro.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Excuse Me Brother podcast. As you can see behind the logo behind me, I've been one of the hosts, Brother Tay. This has been the main host, Brother Jay, with our great guest. Hopefully he'll bring him on. I'm busy all the time. We'll see. Brother K. Thank you very much for listening to us. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's excuse_me_brother with an A, because I made it, so it's not racist. If it's on TikTok, it's excuse me brother, no spaces with the ER, because
I didn't make it. I want to say it for just Jay made it.
With the hard ER, it's racist. And then on the Facebook group, it's excuse brother. He made it, so you know it's racist. Thank you very much for listening. So whenever you listen, it's good morning, good night, good evening, and just have a great day.
And check out the It's Relational podcast.
Absolutely.
Plug yourself in.
Oh man, all right. All right, so I'll start from the top, my intro. Greetings and salutations, my good people. Welcome to another episode of Excuse Me Brother, It's Relational.
There it is.
It's relational if you're bi.
I got an accent.
So,
not Jamaican, just random accent.
Go ahead, go for it.
So, Kemar again from It's Relational, It's Sensational, come with the motivation and inspiration. I just want to thank Brother Jay, Brother Tay, and Brooklyn Podcast and Studio for allowing us to create this magic, because this has been a story I wanted to record myself, but I never got the confidence to. So I thank you for allowing me to address my state of the union, if you will. I really appreciate that. So thank you again. I do not take it lightly. So that's all I got. We could be found on itsrelational.co, everywhere you find, podcasts, and on YouTube. We out here, we speak relationship. We come from high school sweethearts, 10 years married in 2024, and 15 years together overall. And we just want to be a positive, monogamous example of relationships for all those out there.
And a brotherhood ship of high school brothers.
Oh, yes. Me and this man, I've known this man for more than half of my life. It doesn't even feel that long, but when I met him, I was younger and less hairy. You know what I mean? So
I doubt it.
No.
No, you're right. You had braids then.
Oh, snap. Yeah, you're right.
See, I told you. All the hair goes from here to here. That's just how it works.
All right, y'all.
Thank you, Brooklyn.